How's it going, guys? Derby update with the 2008 Chevy Cobalt. Going along good for the most part. I've never torn something this new apart, especially for a demolition derby. The newest I think I've torn apart would have been my Saturn, which I believe was a 2000 or 2001. Which would have been my very first derby car. This is getting torn apart for the most part. So everything's kind of slow process. I do have all of the interior for the most part pulled out. I'm having a little bit of issues with the dash. This is all plastic. And there are so many bolts scattered across it, it is unreal. So every time I think I've got all the bolts, there's more that pop up. So I've not gotten that fully done yet. I will try to get that out here soon. Speakers I'll probably leave in for this year, leave in for now or so. I'm not exactly sure. All the guts of the doors I'll leave in so I can still open and close the doors. Those are always the very last thing I ever pull out of a car. Basically, they stay in the car until I am ready to weld the door shut. Still got a bunch of tools in here. I got to get all the wiring from the back moved up and all that fun jazz. Don't have the windows out yet. This car will actually be sitting outside right beside the Ford over there. It will probably about another week or two. I will actually push this car outside and it will that'll be it for the year. So this will actually probably be the last video I upload for the year. It's a really clean car for being an Ohio car. It is pretty clean. I mean, that's still solid there. That's really the only worst parts of it. I mean, this is all clean. Previous video, can't turn right. Thought it was actually the electric motor. In these cars, they've got an electric motor for your power steering assist, whatever. Right here's the electric motor. That actually bolts right here. It took me 2 hours of tearing apart the dash to get to this, to get it out. I originally, when I tried to steer right, it locked up. I jerked it real hard to see if it would come loose. Well, it did come loose, but I heard a pop, what sounded like plastic. So I assumed it was this electric motor gearbox. Well, here's the thing. It is perfectly fine. So that means it is the good old rack and pinion. I know it's going to be dark so you guys can't really see, but it will be the rack and pinion. Handful, I think there's like 2 bolts that hold it in. And then I think, that hold it to the subframe. And then obviously your outer tie rod ends, and there's a bolt for the steering shaft to go into it. I'm going to get that replaced. Local junkyard has one for 50 bucks. So possibly go and pick that up. Basically, pretty much the only thing I'm going to do with this car from now until basically in the next week or two, replace the rack and pinion. I'm going to bring all of the electrical wiring forward and possibly try to get the fuel lines routed from underneath the car in through the car, and just make up a makeshift fuel tank, whatever case may be, so this way it will run and move under its own power. Trunk lid, I got to swap out the trunk lid yet. It's obviously got a spoiler, and instead of me just unbolting the spoiler and having holes, I actually my daily driver is another 2008 Chevy Cobalt. So all I'm going to do is just switch out the whole trunk lids, just switch them completely out, and that will take care of that. But yeah, there's really not a lot of rust. Like there's really not. It's all clean. If you look at it, I mean, that's literally all dirt. It is just that clean. Cleanest car I have ever derbied. Cleanest car I have ever worked on for a derby car, except for the hood. The hood is completely garbage. So I'm not exactly sure what happened to that, but for whatever reason, the hood just went to hell over like the last year. Basically since last winter, the hood just, yeah, it's completely garbage. But, so, other than that though, the car is clean, clearly. But this will be the last update video for at least this year. Next spring, I will obviously continue working on this car. I've got to do some more. I got to do work on the Volvo. I got to redo the motor mounts. Motor mounts broke, so I will definitely make a video of that. Pull them out, weld them like they're supposed to be welded instead of just half-assing it. Weld them up the way they need to be and go from there. Show you guys that. Show you guys the transmission lines, how I do all that. So, but no, it's coming along very slowly. I can't find any information on these Cobalts, so I'm going in kind of blind. But it is what it is. Wife's car has to come into the garage for the winter time, so I lose my garage space to build derby cars over the winter. So it is what it is. But she lets me derby, so I can't complain too much. But alrighty, guys, y'all enjoy the holidays coming up, and we'll see you next year.